Ever stop to think what really happens when you vanish from someone's life? Not a slow fade. Not a breadcrumb trail. I mean gone, cold, clean, quiet. No texts, no calls, no signs of life, just silence. In a world where people get too used to your presence, where they think you'll always be there, let's do something radical. Let's disappear. And watch what happens when the echo of your absence gets louder than any word you ever said. This might be the most important video you'll see today, especially if you've ever been in a relationship or stuck in a "what are we even?" where someone started treating you like a backup plan. Today we shift the power. We're diving deep into a concept most people never talk about. What they actually go through when you remove yourself from their life. No warnings, no explanations, just gone. There are 9 emotional stages they'll face when you disappear. And believe me, by the time we're done, you'll see why walking away without a word can sometimes speak the loudest truth of all. If you're tired of being someone's afterthought, if you're done playing the role of maybe, comment below, "I'm done being an option." Because by the time this ends, that version of you will no longer exist. Stick around till the very end, because there's a 10th stage no one ever sees coming. And when it hits hard. Let's begin. Number 1, the shock of rejection. This is where the unraveling starts. They never really believed you'd leave, not fully. In their head you were a fixture. The dependable one. The one who reached out first, made the plans, picked up the slack, kept the connection alive. You were their constant. Until you weren't. And when you finally go silent, it doesn't register as silence. It hits like a blow to the chest. They've heard the phrase before, "You don't know what you've got until it's gone," but this is their first time truly feeling it. Your absence isn't just about not being there physically. It's everything else that disappears with you. The warmth, the support, the validation they quietly soaked up every day. Suddenly, that invisible thread of comfort they never thanked you for is cut, and they're left exposed. What they feel isn't just rejection, it's a collapse of control. Because now they have to face the truth. They don't own a piece of you like they thought they did. And that scares them. People rarely say it aloud, but when they believe someone will always be there, they start treating that person like furniture. Comfortable, present, unappreciated. You were reliable, so they stopped seeing you. You became convenient, an afterthought. But when you vanish, you rip that comfort out from under them. That's when the fear kicks in. It's like being pushed off a ledge they didn't realize they were standing on. Confusion sets in fast. Panic even faster. How could they lose someone who always stayed? How did they let it slip? Why didn't they notice sooner? The blow lands especially hard when you've been emotionally generous. When you were the one offering consistency, affection, understanding. They assumed it would never run out. That you'd always be right there, no matter how cold they became, how little they gave back. And maybe, just maybe, they even thought they were doing you a favor by keeping you close. That's the twisted part. They thought crumbs were a gift. Meanwhile, it was your presence, your love, your patience that carried the whole thing. Here's what matters most. If you want them to feel that sting, don't explain. Don't announce your exit. Don't beg to be seen. Just disappear. No warning, no farewell, just gone. That's when it really hits. Because they never imagined you had it in you. And that quiet exit? It screams louder than any words ever could. It forces them to sit with the choices they made, the words they didn't say, the love they didn't return, the respect they failed to give. And by then it's too late. You've already walked away. You've already closed the door. Let them sit in that silence. Let them face the consequences. Because the version of you they thought they controlled? That version doesn't exist anymore. Number 2, the void of missing you. This is where things start to shift. After the shock wears off and the sting of rejection fades into the background, something colder creeps in, emptiness. The kind that doesn't announce itself loudly but settles in quietly, like a shadow they can't shake. They didn't expect to miss you, not really. They told themselves they'd be fine without you. Maybe even better. If they leave, I'll just move on. That's what they thought. But now that you're gone, reality doesn't match their confidence. And it hits them in the quietest places, while they're brushing their teeth, scrolling through their phone, or lying in bed late at night. Everything feels dull. That's when it dawns on them. It wasn't just your presence. It was the energy you brought, the softness, the grounding, the warmth that made the world feel a little less chaotic. And now, it's gone. Replaced by a silence that doesn't comfort, it echoes. See, people who take you for granted always assume you're just part of the scenery. They forget that the way you listened, the way you checked in, the way you simply showed up, none of that was standard. They thought they could swap you out like background music. But they can't. So they try to fill the space. With distractions. With company. With noise. Maybe they go out more. Or flirt with someone new. Maybe they throw themselves into work or lose themselves in Netflix and playlists and weekends that feel forced. But none of it touches the part of them you used to reach. Because that part was yours. Every day without you stretches that void a little wider. They remember the comfort of your voice. The way you knew when something was wrong without them saying a word. The way your laugh changed the mood of a whole room. And it's the smallest things that haunt them the most. The everyday rhythms they once overlooked, now echo with your absence. Here's the twist, they didn't cherish you when they had you. They assumed there'd always be another chance. That you'd still be around next week. Or next month. But now that you've disappeared, they realize how wrong they were. And that's why you have to disappear without a trace. Cut the cords. Block the access. Remove the breadcrumbs. Because the more unreachable you are, the more that absence becomes real. Tangible. Painful. They'll search for you in places you used to show up. And every time they find nothing, the void deepens. Let them feel that emptiness. Let them sit in the stillness they thought they wanted. Because in that silence, they'll come face to face with the truth. They didn't just miss a person. They missed you. The one who made it all make sense. And this time you're not coming back to fill it. Number 3, the grip of curiosity. By now, the silence has settled in deep. The emptiness has taken hold, and that's when curiosity begins to take over. Not the casual kind. The kind that claws at their brain at night and distracts them during the day. Suddenly, the only thing they want to know is, you. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing now that they're no longer part of the picture? It starts subtly. A glance at your old messages. A scroll through your socials. But it never stops there. They start checking your profiles constantly, hunting for even the smallest clue. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Every app becomes a window they're desperately hoping you'll crack open, just a glimpse, a shadow, a hint that you're still lingering somewhere on the other side. But you're silent. No stories. No selfies. No posts. Nothing but a digital ghost. And that mystery? It's maddening. Because people hate the unknown more than they hate the truth. And you've become the unknown. A closed door they once walked through freely, but now it's locked and they don't have the key anymore. That's when the insecurity creeps in. Maybe you've moved on. Maybe there's someone new. Maybe you're thriving without them. The possibilities swirl in their mind and each one cuts a little deeper. They don't have answers, so they start inventing them. And the stories they tell themselves? They always hurt more than reality ever could. They might even start asking around, talking to friends, checking your tag photos, trying to play it cool while digging for scraps. But that pride won't let them admit what they're really doing. They're chasing your shadow, hoping it leads to something real. That's the thing about curiosity, it doesn't just sit quietly. It grows. It spirals. And when it doesn't get fed, it becomes obsession. The less they know, the more they need to know. You're no longer just a person. They've turned you into a puzzle they can't solve, a presence they can't shake, a thought that refuses to go away. So here's your move, disappear completely. No updates, no likes, no online breadcrumbs. Become unreachable. Untouchable. Let them live with the silence, let it echo every time they refresh your profile and find nothing. Because every unanswered question tightens your grip on their mind. You don't need to speak a word. Your silence is the loudest message you'll ever send. Number 4. Moment of self-reflection. Now we step into dangerous ground, for them. This is the part they never saw coming. The moment when curiosity fades and silence turns into a mirror. They stop obsessing over you and start facing themselves. And let's be honest, it's not a pretty sight. At first they try to distract themselves. But after days, maybe weeks, of unanswered questions and unanswered texts, they run out of places to look. So they look inward. And that's when it begins. The late night thoughts. The what ifs. The slow unraveling of denial. Was I too distant? Did I ever make them feel seen? Why didn't I just treat them better when I had the chance? Regret creeps in quietly, but it doesn't leave. It lingers, gnawing at them like a slow ache. And the thing about regret? It doesn't wait for permission. It forces them to sit in their own mess. To face the missed calls, the ignored messages, the nights you needed them and they just weren't there. And now, for the first time, they can't run from it. Because you're not around to patch things up. You're not softening the blow. You're not there to reassure them or explain away their behavior. They're left with nothing but memories, and those memories don't lie. They replay every moment. The subtle dismissals. The sarcastic comments. The passive neglect. Every time they made you feel like an option. It all comes rushing back, and this time there's no one else to blame. The silence holds up a mirror, and what they see stings. This stage is powerful not because it's loud, but because it's internal. You can't argue with a ghost. You can't gaslight someone who's no longer around. All that's left is the truth. And the deeper they reflect, the more they realize just how badly they got it wrong. That guilt? It doesn't arrive all at once. It builds, slowly, quietly, until it's undeniable. And with every passing day, they wish they could go back, rewrite the ending, choose you differently. But they can't. That door is closed. And here's what matters most. Don't interfere. Don't reach out. Don't explain. Don't try to walk them through their revelation. Let them get there on their own. Real transformation doesn't come from your voice. It comes from their silence. So let them sit with the weight of it. Let them lie awake at night and finally understand what you were trying to give. Let them taste the consequence of their choices. That's how lessons stick. Not through anger or revenge, but through absence. And the mirror it leaves behind. Number 5, the desire to chase you begins. After enough time spent lost in their own thoughts, something changes. The self-reflection turns into something more restless, more urgent. That need to reach out, it's no longer just curiosity or guilt. It's desire. The tables have flipped. Where you once chased, now they begin the pursuit. Suddenly you're all they think about. They start wondering if it's too late to fix things. The what-ifs turn into maybe I still have a chance. They begin testing the waters, liking old posts, replying to your stories, dropping subtle comments. Maybe they shoot you a message late at night, something soft, familiar. Hey, just thinking about you. They might not say it outright, but everything they do now whispers the same truth. They want you back. But here's the beauty of it, you don't have to play along. They're the ones trying now. The ones hoping. The ones nervous to hit send. And you? You've already reclaimed your value. That power they used to have? It's gone. And every move they make to pull you closer only reminds them how far away you really are. This is where you stay strong. Don't respond. Don't feed their hope. Let them feel what it's like to want something and not get it. Let them sit in the tension, the regret, the silence. Because the second you reply, the second you break the silence, you hand the control back. And after everything they put you through, they don't deserve that. Let them chase. Let them reach. Let them feel what you once felt. And let them realize they're no longer chasing the same version of you. Number 6, the tug of war between relief and regret. At first, your absence might feel like a wind to them, a breath of fresh air. They tell themselves it's better this way. Finally, they think, no more drama, no more effort. For a moment, that freedom tastes sweet, light, almost empowering. But it doesn't last. They go out more, stay busy, swipe endlessly through strangers' profiles trying to feel something. For a while it works, on the surface. But that surface starts to crack the second they're alone. That's when the silence creeps in. That's when regret slips through. What felt like freedom slowly reveals itself for what it really is, distraction. And distractions don't hold up when the room gets quiet. They realize that the people they thought would fill your space aren't even speaking the same language. It's all noise, loud, shallow, and forgettable. You weren't just a name in their phone. You were stability, presence, realness. And now, everything else feels hollow in comparison. It's like trying to quench thirst with salt water. The more they drink, the worse it gets. The more they search for someone to replace you, the more they realize they're chasing something they already had and lost. This is the moment where regret doesn't just visit, it stays. Let them sit in it. Let them feel the ache of choosing freedom and finding only emptiness. Don't run back in to soothe the sting. Let them learn the difference between momentary relief and lasting connection. Because while that first sigh of relief fades fast, your absence lingers. And that's what they'll remember. Number 7, the urge to play games. Once regret sinks its teeth in, panic isn't far behind. And when they don't know how to fix things directly, they shift into manipulation mode. Suddenly, it's all about trying to get a reaction out of you. They post carefully crafted photos with people you don't recognize. They drop vague captions about moving on or living their best life. Every update feels like it's trying a little too hard. Because it is. This isn't confidence, it's performance. They're trying to stir something in you. Curiosity, jealousy, anything that makes you bite. But here's the twist, you're not playing anymore. You've outgrown the games. You've moved beyond the drama. Their bait no longer tempts you. While they're trying to pull strings, you've already cut the cord. And that silence? It's louder than any comeback. They'll keep trying, posting cryptic messages, taking subtle shots, showing off in ways that reek of desperation. But none of it works, because the only thing they want now is your attention, and you're no longer giving it. That's what gets to them most. When they can't manipulate your emotions, when they can't control the narrative, they lose the upper hand. And suddenly all their efforts start to look foolish, even to themselves. So don't engage. Don't flinch. Don't even look twice. Their game dies the moment you stop playing. And in that silence they finally realize they've already lost. Number 8, the unbearable pain of silence. Silence, when used right, isn't quiet at all. It roars. When you remove your voice, your presence, your daily energy, it creates a void that screams louder than any confrontation ever could. This is where it starts to crush them. Because now all they have left is their own thoughts, and no distraction to drown them out. They begin to remember the messages they left on read, the calls they declined, the times they were too busy, and now they give anything just to hear a single word from you. Silence is brutal for someone who's used to pulling the strings. They expected you to crack first, to chase, to ask what went wrong, but you didn't. And now they're left staring at their phone, waiting for a notification that never comes. In a world addicted to replies and constant noise, your silence becomes their undoing. The stillness starts to get to them. It lingers. It builds. Every hour without your voice feels heavier than the last. What used to be a simple absence now feels like abandonment, and they can't stand it. They're used to chaos, to tension, even to arguments. At least that meant there was still a connection. But now there's nothing. Just the sound of their own guilt echoing in a space you once filled. And the longer the silence stretches, the louder it becomes. Let it. Don't break it. Don't offer closure or comfort. Let them feel every ounce of that emptiness. Because in that silence, they finally hear everything they refused to listen to before. Number 9, the fear that drags them back. This is the breaking point, the moment everything unravels. And it's not pride or guilt this time, it's fear. The kind that hits unexpectedly and settles deep. The kind they never imagined feeling, not about you. They always thought you'd be there. No matter what. They saw your loyalty as a guarantee, not a gift. So they pushed, pulled, and dismissed. Until one day you weren't there to push back. You weren't waiting anymore. You were just gone. And now panic sets in. That cold realization creeps in late at night. What if I really lost them? What if someone else is holding the spot I once took for granted? They picture you smiling for someone new, laughing, loving, building a bond that has nothing to do with them. And it wrecks them. Suddenly, the pride that once kept them silent? Gone. The games they played? Forgotten. None of it matters now. All they want is another shot. One more chance to fix what they broke. So they reach out. Long, desperate messages. Emotional voice notes. Maybe even show up in person, pleading, promising, pouring it all out. But it's not about love at this point, it's fear. Fear that you're never coming back. Fear that they've been replaced. Fear that they finally pushed the one person who truly cared too far. But here's the truth they weren't ready for: you've already outgrown them. You found your balance, your strength, your peace. The version of you that once tolerated their behavior doesn't live here anymore. So when they come crawling back, led by fear, not growth, don't mistake desperation for change. Let them sit in what they created. Because you're no longer a backup plan. You're the lesson they never thought they'd have to learn. Number 10, the awakening of emotional freedom. This is where the journey completes itself, not with a reunion, not with a message, but with a moment of clarity. This is where you realize that walking away wasn't just about leaving them behind, it was about walking back to yourself. You stopped waiting. You stopped trying to prove your worth. You stopped bending just to be accepted. And in that stillness, in that silence, something powerful happened. You remembered who you are. Because the truth is, in so many relationships, we lose sight of our own needs. We pour so much into them, into fixing, into pleasing, into proving, that we forget we had the option to choose ourselves all along. But once you disappeared, once you reclaimed your peace, everything changed. You no longer need their approval. You no longer wonder what they think or how they feel. Their silence doesn't shake you anymore. Because you've finally stepped into something stronger than love, self-respect. That's emotional independence. And it's unshakable. And here's what's even better: they can feel it. They sense the shift. You're not that same version of you who once waited, who once settled, who once hoped they'd finally treat you right. No. You're grounded now, clear, unreachable. They're still stuck playing their old games, still chasing the same cycles. But you've evolved. You've broken the loop. Their opinion no longer holds weight. Their attention no longer feels like a reward. You've outgrown the need to be chosen, because you've chosen yourself. So don't go back. Don't water yourself down to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. Don't hand them back the power you worked so hard to reclaim. Because here's the real win: you're not just surviving without them. You're thriving without their permission. And that is your freedom. If you're ready to take your power back and stop settling for less, drop a comment below that says, "I'm done being an option." Because this, right now, is the beginning of your transformation. If this video spoke to you, if something inside you clicked or shifted, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It's a small action, but it goes a long way in helping us create more content that speaks to real people just like you. Your support means everything. It helps this message reach those who need it most. Remember this: you're no longer waiting to be chosen. You choose you now. See you in the next video.